I made a mock Airbnb ad. And in today's tutorial, I'll show you how step by step. This is going to be the first part of a series where I break down the entire reel. If you want to follow along, you can download the assets in the description box below. Now, without further ado, let's get straight into After Effects. Alright, so before we get into the tutorial, I want to briefly just go over how I got these assets prepared for this ad, or this reel that I did. So I used Figma to get these like UI assets for the Airbnb mobile app, which you can see here. And I just want to briefly go over a few ways that you can do that on your own, even though I've attached the project file here with a folder with the actual After Effects project file, and then the folder also has all the stuff that you need. So you don't need to do this for this tutorial. If you just open up that folder in the After Effects project, everything that you see here will be there, and that's all you need. But just so you know, I wanted to quickly go over how you could do this on your own. So basically, like if you want to get UI assets, you can use a site called Figma. And for this one, I literally just did a search Airbnb design UI. I didn't mean to do kitchen. So yeah, Airbnb design UI. If you just search, the first one that came up was a Figma link. And if we click that here, it brings us to Figma, and it will say open in Figma. If you don't have a Figma account, I think it will make you make an account, but it is free. And then it opens this, which has just a bunch of these UI elements here. And you can zoom in by using the zoom wheel or scroll wheel and holding Control on your keyboard. And then where we come here, this is the one I used. So again, just for future reference, if you want to start doing this, there's three main ways that I know of that you can import these assets into After Effects so that you don't have to make them on your own. The first way is with this plugin called AEUX, and it's a free plugin that you can download and install into After Effects. And once you've done that, you can just highlight this, right click, go to plugins, and then on the web version, I only have Overlord, but on my desktop version, I have AEUX. So if you have AEUX, you would click plugins and it would say AEUX here, and you would click on it, and that would send the assets to After Effects for you. And that, again, that is actually how I did it for the original tutorial or original video I made for this ad reel. But when I wanted to record the tutorial, I just kind of decided that the way that that plugin brings in the layers is a little bit too, it was just a little bit too organized. It'd be too hard to make a tutorial. So for this one, I bought another plugin called Overlord, which is a paid plugin. It's $75. But it's a little bit better. It just brings in the layers a little bit more organized, and that's what I've done here. So yeah, and then the other way that's free is you can go to, if you have Illustrator, you can go to here, and you can basically highlight this, or like the assets you want to bring, right click, go copy, paste, and then copy as SVG, open Illustrator, and you can do Control C or Control V, sorry, to paste. And then it will basically bring the assets into the Illustrator file, and then from there you can import it into After Effects. So let me just close that. That was just to demonstrate. But yeah, again, I did it in Overlord, and you don't need that plugin to basically use this project file. And when you open the project file, I'll just go over this. So there's some layers here, and I basically pre-composed everything that we need. So like this is the search bar. If we open it, it has all the elements in the search bar, and so on and so forth. So services, pre-comp has everything related to that element, and so on and so forth. And for each of these like cards here, I have it labeled card 1 through 9, going all the way down here. And yeah, so that's just wanted to briefly go over that for the tutorial. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, so let's get started here. So first, what I'm going to do is actually highlight all these layers and make them invisible for now because we don't need to use them for the very beginning here. And first thing after that I'll do is go to the shape tool, do a rounded rectangle, and hold shift to make it a perfect square. Actually, I'm going to scale it up to about here. And then I'm going to align it in the center, and I'm going to round the corners to, let's try 80. All right, and then also with the folder that I gave you, we can open that up and drag in this screenshot into the After Effects folder so that you can get the exact color of the Airbnb like red/pink color. So I already have it here, but if we go to fill and then take this eyedropper, we can just select that. And there you go. And then I'm going to take off the stroke here, and I'm going to right click on the layer, and we're going to go to layer styles and add a bevel and emboss, then open up bevel and emboss. And we're going to increase the size, and we're going to soften it a little bit. And we're going to lower the highlight and shadow opacity to 25 each. All right, that looks good. Let's close that layer here, and then we're going to bring in this layer and put it on top of it, which is the actual Airbnb logo. I'm going to rename this layer logo, and we're going to add a fill and make it white. And then we'll scale this down to about 25. And let's just center it just to make sure. Okay, we got it centered. And what we're going to do is track matte the logo to the shape layer and then turn back on the shape layer. And we're going to add some keyframes here. So we're going to add some keyframes to the shape layer. And let's actually rename this to logo background. And I'll press R for rotation, and I'll put a keyframe here. Gonna center the anchor point, and we'll do -180. Then bring it out a little bit and put it at 0. And then we'll also hit S for scale, and hit U to bring up all the keyframes, bring scale out to the same place, and then we'll bring it down to 0. Then what I'm going to do here is add an expression to these keyframes, the bounce expression, and I'll leave this expression in the description. So I'm just going to copy that and then hit Alt and click on the stopwatch and paste it in there for both of these. There we go. And then also I'm going to parent the logo to the logo background, and then I'm just going to zoom in and bring these keyframes in here. Okay. And I'm actually going to change this one to, I'm going to change the rotation one to -90. And I'm going to bring these keyframes out just a little bit. Okay, just like that. And then what we're going to do here is for the logo, we're going to put a position keyframe. So we will add a keyframe, bring it out to about 3 frames ahead. And we're going to center it. And then let's bring it back to the beginning, and then we're just going to bring the position down. And then we'll bring this layer out a little bit so that we have background come in. And we're going to add the same bounce expression here. Just like that. And we'll bring this out. And what we're going to also do now is let's close these layers, and I'm going to add a background layer. So we're going to go to New, Solid, doesn't matter what the color is. We're going to bring it below everything. Right here, and then I'm going to add a 4-color gradient. And we're going to make first color just a little bit off-white. This color, the same off-white. And then for the other colors, we're going to use this Airbnb pink color, but we're just going to bring it down a little bit, like halfway to that white. Maybe even a little bit more. This one is going to be off-white. Okay, yep, just like that. And then we're also going to keyframe these. So let's just keyframe all of these points in colors. And we'll click U on the layer. And then we're going to go out to about like 8 seconds here. And by the way, I'm on 30 frames per second. And then we're just going to zoom out here and then move these around. And then we'll just ease these keyframes just for fun. Then if we play it, we see we have a moving background here. So that is good. Let's move this back in, and we'll close this layer and unselect it. And then we're going to add a circle. So go to the ellipse tool, and I'm going to click on that, and then let's bring this out here. I'm going to hold shift to make a perfect circle, just like that. And I'm going to make the fill white, and I'm going to turn on the stroke and make it that same red color here, red pink for the Airbnb logo. And I'm going to put the stroke width to 15 pixels. And I'm going to add deep glow onto it, just like that. And now we're going to keyframe it. So right when the logo pops up, we're going to do position keyframes. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to bring it right under the composition and center it. And I'm going to center the anchor point as well. And then put a position keyframe here, bring it out. And I'm just going to move the position up right into the middle of the screen. But what we're going to do is I'm going to fit to comp, and then actually I'm going to zoom out a little bit to like right here. And then I'm going to right click on my keyframes, go to keyframe interpolation, and just change this to continuous Bezier. And now it gives us these handles on the keyframe, and I'm going to give it a curve like this. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to bring it out a little bit, and then I'm going to ease these keyframes, and with my flow, I'm going to give it a very fast curve, which you can see here. So let's see how that works. Okay. And I'm just going to bring these in a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to animate the click. So it's basically like a button clicking. We'll do that with the scale keyframe here. So I'm going to make a keyframe, going to go 2 frames forward. Let's try that. And I'm going to make this, I'm going to bring it to 50% scale, then go 2 frames forward again, bring it back to 100. And I'll ease these. Let's see how that looks. Actually, I'll bring this one out a little bit and then copy this keyframe so that we have a slight hold. Let's try that. All right, that looks fine. So that's what we have so far. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the search bar pre-comp here, and we're going to make it visible. And then we're going to bring it above the logo. And we're going to take the search bar logo and logo background, and we're going to pre-compose that. And I'm just going to call this logo. And we're going to open this up. We'll bring this out a little bit. And then so we want this logo to transition to this search bar. So I'm going to turn this on just so we can see this a little bit better. I'm going to scale this up. And we will center this. All right, and then, so for the logo background, I'm going to search for size. We're going to go to rectangle path size, keyframe, and then bring it all the way down to like right here. So about the same size as the, same height as the actual search bar. We'll hit F9 to easy ease. Let's give it a very fast curve. Bring this out a little bit. All right, and then as it goes down, we then want it to fade out. So I'm going to add a opacity keyframe. We will basically have it go from 100% to 0. Just like that. And then as that one fades out, this search bar is going to fade in. So we're going to open up the search bar, then go to frame 2.1, go to size, and then unlink this, and we're going to basically start it as a circle, and then we'll have it go all the way out to about here. Let's see how that goes. All right, looks good. And then I'm going to add that same expression here for the bounce. For the size keyframe, paste it in there. Then we'll just move this in. Let's move it in even a little bit more, maybe like so. Okay, let's try this. All right, and then I'm just going to play with these keyframes a little bit because we want that to go a little bit quicker. We want it to start going down right when that click happens. So click. Let's move this just a few keyframes over. Just going to scale this up a little bit more to about here. And I am going to select these size keyframes, unlink this again, and then just make this a little bit taller. Like that, and I'll just round the corners a little bit more. All right, let's see that. Okay, that looks good. So then for the ball layer, right when it clicks, like right here, I'm gonna press T for opacity, and we'll just have it fade out. So let's play that. And I'm gonna go back to here because this fade out isn't happening quick enough. Okay. All right, so we have this here so far. And now what we're going to do is add a light sweep to this logo pre-comp. So we're going to do CC light sweep. And right when it's popping up, we want it to go over. So I'm going to keyframe the center here, then open it up by clicking U. And then I'm just going to take this point. We'll start it here. Then I'm going to go out a little bit to like right here. And then just bring this over to the other side. Let's play that here. And then I'm just going to increase the width to 100. And maybe the intensity I'll bring to like 35. Okay. Then I'll ease these keyframes. And we'll do a peak on the left, just like this graph here. And I'm actually just going to move this keyframe a little bit over here because I don't want it to... Okay, then I'm going to move this even farther. Okay. And then we need to add some circles that come out from the back here. So I'm going to unselect all these layers, hit U to close them, and then I'm going to go to the ellipse tool, and I'm going to hold shift to make a perfect circle. And I'm going to take off the fill, and then I'm going to turn the stroke to 30. And I'm going to center this. And then I'm going to make, I'm going to call this circle 1. Then I'm going to duplicate it because we're going to have 2 circles. Basically what we're going to do here is select both of them, do T for opacity. We're going to set the opacity to 50%. And then we're going to hit S for scale. We're going to set scale keyframes. And we're going to go 0% all the way up to 273 or whatever's just out of frame here. Like that. Gonna ease these, give it a left peak, and then we want it to, basically right when the click happens, we want these to come out. So let's move it here. So the click happens. And then we're gonna offset these. So just like that. And I also want the opacity to fade out as it goes. So what we're going to do is put opacity keyframes on and basically take them both to 0 as it fades out. So as this first one fades out, yeah. Then we'll just move this. All right, and then for the scale keyframes, I'm actually going to give it the very fast left peak here. So just like this on the speed graph, I think that looks a little bit better. Okay, awesome. And then for the logo layer now, the pre-comp, we're going to click this button to make it a 3D layer. And right when the click starts, so about right here, we want to keyframe the rotation. So we're going to keyframe the X and Y rotation, and then take the playhead out to about when the search icon pops up here. And we're going to just adjust these rotations. Bring this to about -88, and then we're going to bring the Y rotation to like 30. Then we'll bring this out again, and then we'll set this back to 0. For X and Y rotation, I will easy ease these. So it gives us this look like it's rotated and flipped over. So let's fit to comp and watch this. All right, and that is it for the first part of the tutorial. I'll be releasing probably about 2 or 3 parts to get this done. So yeah, if you liked it, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to download my completed project file for this or want more After Effects content, you can check out my Skool Community. The link will be in the description below. Thanks for watching.